Let us listen to the proclamation of life and salvation for our souls.
Remain silent, O listeners, for the Holy Gospel is about to be proclaimed to you. Listen and give glory and thanks to the word of the living God.
Then some of the scribes and Pharisees said to Jesus, "Teacher, we wish to see a sign from you." He said to them in reply, "An evil and unfaithful generation seeks a sign, but no sign will be given it except the sign of Jonah the prophet. Just as Jonah was in the belly of the whale 3 days and 3 nights, so will the Son of Man be in the heart of the earth 3 days and 3 nights. At the judgment, the men of Nineveh will arise with this generation and condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonah. And there is something greater than Jonah here. At the judgment, the queen of the south will arise with this generation and condemn it, because she came from the ends of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. And there is something greater than Solomon here. When an unclean spirit goes out of a person, it roams through arid regions, searching for rest, but finds none. Then it says, I will return to my home from which I came. But upon returning, it finds it empty, swept clean, and put in order. Then it goes and brings back with itself 7 other spirits more evil than itself. And they move in and dwell there. And the last condition of that person is worse than the first. Thus it will be with this evil generation. This is the truth. Peace be with you. It is hard to stop sin, to stop sinning. And then it is even harder to continue without sinning, without replacing the sin with something else. If the way that you deal with stress is drugs or alcohol, and then you say, well, I want to stop, it's going to be very hard to stop. And then you stop, but you don't replace, you don't come up with a better way to deal with your stress, then the drinking will come back with a vengeance. We see this in a slightly different form in the gospel. The spirit leaves. The spirit's unclean. He leaves. He comes back. He finds the house is empty and clean. So he brings back with him his friends. And so there's this importance of, as we walk away from sin, walking toward God. And so this would be why a moral life would fall short without God. It would fall short because there is something that we have to put in the place of sin. And if we do not restore God to his rightful place, then it will be some disorder or another. And so, in Lent, we look at fasting and prayer and almsgiving, setting aside and turning from sin. But then we must start replacing fasting with something else. Right? We must start replacing sin with something else. And what is that something else? It is right relationship with God, right relationship with our neighbor, right relationship with ourselves. Jesus, he says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, with all your mind. Love your neighbor as yourself. Right? This is a formula. This is a freedom of being transformed by the love of God to turn from sin, but not to turn to nothing. Right? We don't turn away from sin to stare at a blank wall. We turn from sin to look at the beauty of God and to see God, his image, in our neighbor and in ourselves.